Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, the honorable adjudicators, debaters, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the semi-final round of English debating competition of the first OASE PTKI se-Indonesia 2021. In the second session of the day, I have the honor to introduce you to the panel of adjudicator and the participating teams. On the panel of adjudicator, we have Bu Syarifah Dahliana, PhD from AR-RANIRY, Bu Rosita Tandus, PhD from UIN Syarif Hidayatullah, and Pak Henry Iwansyah, MA from UIN Raden Intan Lampung. As for the participating teams, we have Sekolah Tinggi Agama Islam Al-Anwar Rembang, IAIN Bukit Tinggi, STAI Hubbul Watan, and IAIN Palopo. Let's start the session by launching the motion. The motion will be chosen by the spinning system that is shown on the screen. Okay, I hope everyone is ready. For the operator, please start spinning the motion. So the chosen motion of this session is that religious lesson should not be taught in school. That religious lesson should not be taught in school. Now we're also going to spin off the position for each time. First of all, let's begin with Sekolah Tinggi Agama Islam Al-Anwar Rembang. STAI Rembang will act as the opening government of the House. STAI Rembang will act as the opening government of the House. Now, for IAIN Bukit Tinggi.
Sorry, could you repeat?
IAIN Bukit Tinggi will act as the closing government of the House. IAIN Bukit Tinggi will act as the closing government of the House. Now for STAI Hubbul Watan. STAI Hubbul Watan will act as the opening opposition of the House. STAI Hubbul Watan will act as the opening opposition of the House. And that will automatically put IAIN Palopo at the closing opposition side of the House. Now that we have the motion and position of each team settled, please allow us a minute to set up the screen for the debate. Okay, all set, and here comes the time for case building. You have 15 minutes for the case building. We also provide the timer on the top of the screen. Please also keep in mind that you are supervised during the case building. No electronic device is allowed, and you may only discuss with your partner, and please keep being on cam. The case building time starts now. IAIN Palopo suruh close up nggak? For IAIN Palopo, would you please put the camera close up to both of the speaker so we can see both of you clearly? And for And for STAI Hubulwatan, would you please just drop the background because one of you is disappearing from the screen. I repeat, for STAI Hubulwatan, the participants from STAI Hubulwatan, could you please drop the background, just change the background so we can see both of you clearly because now only one of the speaker is appearing on the screen. All right, thank you. Where's the other speaker?
I'm sorry, my friends go to bathroom minute.
All right, thank you. For all participants, we would like to remind you once again that you may only discuss with your partner and no one except your partner. Thank you. For the participant from STI Hubulwatan, could you please inform your partner to go back as soon as possible?
Okay.
Thank you. For the participants from EAE and Palopo, we would like to remind you once again, please set up the camera close up to both of you, because right now we can't see your face clearly. Thank you. What we mean is to zoom in. Yep. Okay. Go closer. Yeah. Thank you. For the participant from Stain Hubulwatan, we would only give you 1 more minute for your partner to come back on screen, or you will be dismissed from the competition. This is the direction directly from the adjudicator. Thank you. Okay, everyone, we've reached the end of the case building session. Before we start the debate, I will explain the regulation. Each speaker has 7 minutes at max to deliver their arguments and rebuttals. At 1 minute, the POI can be delivered. Those who want to state their POI may directly interrupt and speak once aloud by the performing debater. At 6 minutes, the POI time is over, and at 7 minutes, if the speaker hasn't stopped talking, the moderator has right to interrupt and stop the speech. Without further ado, to open the case from the government team, please welcome the Prime Minister from Stai Al Anwar, Sarang Rembang, Jateng. Time and place is yours. Pardon, the opening government is EAN.
Oh,
Okay, wait, allow us sometimes because there are some technical issues here.
check.
All right, pardon for the issue. Now, for the Prime Minister, you can start your speech.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, especially the excellency jurists of the debate contest, and respectable to the moderator and the timekeeper. Also to all the participants of the debate contest or the participant of debate contest whom I admire. Okay, I am as the first speaker of this opposition. My name is Dewi Natul Fadilah, and this is my partner, Nur Aziza. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Indonesia is a God country. This is stated in the Pancasila, the foundation of the Indonesian state, which reach in one Godhead. There are 6 religions that are recognized by the government of Indonesia. There are Islam, Christianity, Catholicism, Hinduism, Buddhism, and Confucianism. These precepts show the obligation for all Indonesian people to embrace a religion. The obligation for all Indonesian people to embrace a religion cannot be separated from the function of religion itself. Yeah, the basic goal of all religions is one, which is to bring about peace in all corners of the world. Yeah, to realize this peace, it is necessary to teach and apply the teachings and values contained in religion. As a very fundamental part of the formation of human personality, religious education is a key that cannot be ignored, because religious education is the formation of religious education is one of the supporting factors in moral education. Humans who believe and fear God cannot be realized suddenly. but through a long educational process. The educational process lasts a human lifetime, both in the family, school, and community. Okay, our mission today is that religious lessons should not be taught in school, which I, as the first speaker from the opposition, disagree with the motion. Okay, so why do we disagree? First, supposedly state, the mind is like an iceberg. It floats with 1/7 of its bulk above the water. Well, what you can see, the abundant energy, whether to commit destruction or constructing behavior, they push the ego to satisfy the desire by whatever evil. So, man tends to be wild by no values, they unconsciously counters the ego. It portrays how important the norm is, especially the religious norms to restrict the man in taking the wrong way to satisfy every single desire. So, in the development of one's personality during along the process of building character in a system named school, to be made in a good culture, the religious norm must be learned through the religious lesson. And we don't want to live in the jungle with us the wild one, right? Yeah. Can we imagine what it could be a country with its wild one? Can we imagine what it could be a country with its wild one people? Yes, it's right that religious norms is not the only norms that goes in human life, but the religious norm in the form of religious lesson contains a holistic values such as loving, caring, obedience, tolerance, and all other values. They are the basic sense of law and all other social norms. Well, ladies and gentlemen, material-oriented families focus more on the meeting the material needs of their children, so that some aspect of spirituality and personality get less attention. It encourages children. It encourages children to grow well mentally, both hidden and visible in the child's attitude. Okay, therefore parents get difficulty controlling their children. It even potentially leads to juvenile delinquency. So, the only hope for such a case is the role of schools in teaching religious values as the key to enlighten the moral degradation of the nation generation. That is not parents can teach religious aspect to their children as well as giving the best example of good behavior. The alternative to parents is to hand over the children to an educational institution that is seen as incredible to build the children's personality for the better. So, we absolutely disagree with the motion. Thank you.
The Prime Minister spent 4 minutes and 48 seconds. 4 minutes and 48 seconds. Then to start the case from the opposition team, please welcome the opposition leader from Stai Hubbulwatan. The time and place is yours.
Alright, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Stai Hubbulwatan, respectable for the judge of OASE and respectable for the all of team in this competitions. So we are from the opposition, want to give argumentations about that religious lessons should not be taught in the schools. Let's we know about the definition of the religious. Yeah, religious education is the conscious and planned effort to prepare students to believe, understand, appreciate, and practice the teaching of the religious activities to guidance, teaching, and training. According to the government regulation number 55 of the 2007, Chapter 1, Article 2 states, religious education is the education that provides knowledge from the attitudes, personality, and the skills of the student in the practicing their religious teachings. Carried out at the last 12 subject or like lectures on all lines, level, and the types of education. It's mean like Zakaria Darajat have explained that religious education is an attached to the mastering and nurturing students, so they can always understand the teaching of the religions, then life like purpose of the teachings with in the in kind of practice and make a religious like religious educations to concern human as well or in the comparison. Not only equipping children's religion or developing children's intellect. So with religious teaching, we can concerning the relations human with the nature as well as like to themselves. So we are from the group opposition. This agree about this topic because previously education practitioner Setio Juandi Darmono advised President Jokowi to eliminate religious education in the school. Like religious education should be responsibility part and religious teacher on the teacher in the school. So education is required given outside of the school. For example, like mosque, church, towns, and monasteries and others. According to the Mono on writing, the school has created divisions among students. So the student don't need to do separate, and it can be done if the religious education is eliminated in the school. So why is the religion often the political tools? Yeah, this question is why is the religion often a political school? Yeah, religion is the include in the educational curriculum in the school. Students are discriminated when receiving religious subject to for finally they feel that they are different. Is Darmono said after the surgens of this sixth book entitled Bringing Civilization Together in Jakarta. So we are tense agree with the suggestion of the eliminating religious lesson in the school. It's a very strong indeed. Why? This view can arise from me, who in the faculty work and religious teacher. So put in this way, when a religious teacher teaches a particular material, it can be ascertained and can and the material is not longer a neutral because it has been specified by teacher surgeon understanding whether he has a background for like NU, Muhammadiyah, Sunni, Shia, Ahmadiyya, and others. So if organizations are not included mazhab, we can at least classify him into some religious expressions. So to overcome with this problem, it's better for religious lesson in school to be eliminated because instead parents who want their children to get religious lessons can informally go to ustad or scholar who already have to stem religions from and themselves. Today will not feel afraid. Thank you.
The opposition leader spent 5 minutes and 9 seconds. 5 minutes and 9 seconds. To continue our debate today, I would like to call the Deputy Prime Minister from Stai Rembang. Time and place is yours.
Okay, thank you for the moderator. And in my opinion, religious lessons should not be taught in school, for it can cause a feeling of being minority. Can you imagine? Being minority is disturbing for some students. We can have example like with the minor religion. In order not to offend him or them, it is better not to teach religion lesson. As we know, that everyone has his or her right to be comfort, to stay in the place they learn to grow. Psychology, it is an anxiety. If being repressed, it can perform negative behavior. And about the different, like we can the opposition that say NU Muhammadiyah or etc. That's in my opinion like who can them can compare this. I mean, if students in student in school like Islam in school like in class, and then how is the Buddhist like the Christian? That's minority like they can feel disturbing or anxiety that's have a behavior that's bad and negative expressed. Okay, okay, just that can be answered.
The Deputy Prime Minister spent 1 minute and 39 seconds. 1 minute and 39 seconds. Thank you for the opening government. Ladies and gentlemen, now please welcome the Deputy Leader of Opposition from Stai Hubulwatan. Time and place is yours. Pardon, you're still muted. Stai Hubulwatan, yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So also a little bit, if organizations are not included in Mazhab, we can at least classify him into some religious expression. It could be that he is a traditionalist, moderate, liberalist, or other typologies. But to be sure, there is no pure Islamic because since the beginning of its emergence, it has been plural facet. Well, we can say that the problem will arise when the child or student is confused when he finds two different views on a particular topic. The parents say A while the teacher says B. In school, throughout my teaching experience, students have not been able to analyze these differences, especially if there is an opinion that is not commonly embraced by the majority. And let me give you an example. When the teacher gets a view that is a choice in a matter of faith in Qadar and Qadar or destiny, while the culture of belief or society in general, including perhaps their parents, believe that is an irreversible destiny, then the students will be confused. So, to overcome this problem, it is better for religious lessons in schools to be eliminated. Instead, parents who want their children to get religious lesson can informally go to ustaz or scholar or imam in their local mosque who already have the same religious frame as them, so they will not feel afraid. And ladies and gentlemen, where Team C as opening opposition agree with this statement. Thank you.
The Deputy Leader of Opposition spends 1 minute and 50 seconds. 1 minute and 40 seconds. Thank you, the opening opposition. Now please welcome from the closing side of the House, the Member of Government, IAIN Bukit Tinggi. Time and place is yours.
Okay, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Firstly, I would like to thank the Madam and Mr. Educators and moderator for giving us the time to deliver our argument as the closing government. And under the motions of the religious lesson should not be taught in school, we are strongly agree with these motions. And before I deliver my speech, I'd like to do my rebuttal to the other side of the House, which they say which they say the religious lesson should be taught in a informal, but we say as the government, as a government, say that religious lesson it can be taught in informal and formal way. So that's my argument. Now we come to my point. I like to deliver my argument, which I separate this in 3 points. The first is why learning religious lesson will bring a majority and minority. The second, why student thinks that this lesson will be sound boring if this only be the repetition in the school. Okay, now we come to the first to my first argument that this will bring a majority and minority in school because, for example, in the school in the class there may be one student who is only have a different religion, and when the religion class is come, the only one children who have a different religion will feel lonely or maybe like feel separate by the other's friends. And to my second argument, why students think that this lesson will be sound boring. So ladies and gentlemen, here's the reason. Because religious lesson usually always be taught in the home by their families and the environments. So if the religious lesson taught again in the school, this will bring into boredom. So that's why. And we know that in the school, they only talk about the basic knowledge of the religious lesson, and instead of doing religious lesson, we can replace it as just like a budi pekerti in the school. We know that every religion taught us about the good manners in the school. So instead of doing a religious lesson in the school, which will bring us into the majority and minority, we can replace it with the budi pekerti in the school. So in the budi pekerti, we can focus on how we tolerate each other in the school, and also just like every religion can be collected in that class, so we can learn much more about tolerance, how we tolerate each other in the religions. And we know that, ladies and gentlemen, in the school, a religious lesson only taught in just like 2 hours lesson. That's why it's only learned about the basic knowledge. That's why it may sound useless, and that brings the students to be boring to listen about the basic knowledge. Because why? They already talk about that in the home, or maybe they join just like an informal school in his environment. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, and so just like but I think that the opening government just said just like they want to erase the religious lesson. But we as a closing government state, religious lesson should not be erased in our school, but instead we can change it into a lesson just like budi pekerti in the school, and which we can focus at to teach about how we tolerate each other, and every students with so many various religion collected in that. So in the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, we as the government want to define that these religious lessons can be taught in the home, in the environment, and instead of erase it, we can change it into like a budi pekerti lesson to focus on how we tolerate each other, and to be a better generation for the next generation. We are proud to propose this motion. Thank you.
The member of government spent 5 minutes and 43 seconds. 5 minutes and 43 seconds. To continue the debate, I'll yield the floor to the member of opposition.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are. Wait a minute. We're gonna spotlight you
Ah, yeah.
before you start the speech. Opening opposition. Closing, yeah. Okay, you may start speech.
We consider school as the place of the sea of knowledge, the place to build students' character, and besides, it must be supported by the religious lesson in order to build up the good character at all, honorable educators. Even if school not the place which can guarantee 100% of students' character. But before I continue, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and my very good afternoon, honorable educators, ladies and gentlemen of the house. I'm Nur Inaya Wulandari Putri as the first speaker of the closing opposition. Well, regarding to the motion that religious lesson should not be taught in school, honorable educators, I'd like to emphasize that we are from the closing opposition is totally disagree for today's motion, and we still 100% standing in our position that we oppose for today's motion. Well, honorable educators, I have 3 tasks to do in this time. The first, I'd like to point out my rebuttal, and the second one, I'd like to clarify about the motion, because I don't have any idea to why this debate still run without any clear motion at all. And thirdly, I'd like to point out my argumentation. Well, honorable educators, moving on to my rebuttal. The first rebuttal, I'd like to the first rebuttal, the opening government always give their definition of the motion, which is not clear at all. Even they also don't give any limitation, which I will explain it about the motion later. And for the second speaker of the opening government, she always mentioned about their own opinion about the minority, about the majority, but there is no the strengthening point. There is no the main point that we can get at all, because they only focus to her own opinion at all. And honorable educators, my opening oppositions mentioned that religious teaching can increase the human, the behavior of the human. That may be right, but unfortunately, we don't know why the opening opposition also said that they want to eliminate the religious lesson in school at all. So that's the point of my rebuttal. So honorable educators, let's move into my second task today, that I will make sure that the clearliness of this motion. So the motion is that religious lesson should not be taught in school. I'd like to define the motion word by word to make it perfectly clear. First, pay attention to the word of religious lessons. Religious lessons, which we mean here, relies on religion such as Islam, Christianity, Hinduism, Buddhism, Confucianism, and so on so far. And we already know that there are 6 religions which exist in our country, Indonesia. And to the second word, should not be taught. Should not be taught, it means that we are not allowing to teach. We are not allowing to forbid to teach something. And for the second things about the school, which is according to Oxford Dictionary, school means that the place where people go to be educated, or the place to learn particular skill. For instance, like elementary school, junior high school, senior high school, vocation school, and so on so far. So the motion means that not allowing or forbid us to teach the lesson that relies on religious lesson. And here is, beside the definition, I'd like to limit our motion today which we mean here, we limit the school for only general school, not for religious school such as Aliyah, Catholic school, and etc. Why, honorable educators? Because we clearly know that they already have their own regulation to teach that kind of religious lesson at all. So that's my rebuttal for the motion itself. So let's move on to my argumentation. Regarding to the motion that religious lesson should not be taught in school, so my argumentation that I would like to say that if we would like to put it out or examinate or doing the examination of religious lesson in school, it's too contradicting to our country Indonesia, to the fundamental basis of our country Indonesia, which I mean here is Pancasila. Honorable educators, ladies and gentlemen of the House, pay attention to our national principle Pancasila. Point 1, which state that believe in the one God and only God, and it means all the things in this country must have a touch of religion. If we ignore for this point, it means that we support for being secular country, and it will bring more and more class in our beloved country Indonesia, honorable educators. So if we being the secular country person, and also the government in this country will lose our identity, not only our identity in religion, but also our identity in the term of relationship with another country in the world, and it also will impact our sovereignty with other countries too, and it means that we don't have sovereignty at all. So what is freedom of our country? We will lose it directly just only because we move that religious lesson in our school. So, honorable educators, as what I have explained before, that's already convinced us to why we disagree for the motion that religious lesson should not be taught in school. But before I close my statement for today, I'd like to emphasize once again that we are firmly closing opposition is totally still standing to our position that we disagree for today's motion. That's why we suppose let this motion fall. Thank you.
The member of opposition spent 6 minutes and 50 seconds. 6 minutes and 50 seconds. To close the case from the government side of the House, we'll invite EAN Bukit Tinggi, the government whip. Time and place is yours.
Okay, Assalamualaikum. Am I audible anyway?
Yes, you are.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, I would like to say thank you to the moderator and adjudicator for giving me the time to speak. In behalf of closing government, I don't think whatever happened in this status quo is enough. In school, there will always be a religion which is more dominant, right? Because most of the students hold that religion. But we cannot also ignore that there will also this small group of students who hold less dominant religion. I don't like seeing them. I don't like seeing this student only be friend with people with the same religion with them. This all started because they know that they are minorities and they know that they lose from the majority student. So from this minority, they know that they are small. This actually can create the separation, the segregation between the societies, creating majorities and minorities, and this is spreading in all around the world, creating new terms such as Islamophobia. There's xenophobia, which is actually threatening the believer's life. If we see this from the wider perspective, and we should realize that it's become the main problem, and it is something that is dealing with someone's life. Someone's life is very basic human right? But sadly, this is indeed what happens now. Is the status quo. So that's why we can see by justifying religion lesson itself can create this bad long-term impact, ladies and gentlemen. So that's why exactly we shouldn't provide this religious lesson anymore in school. So we are going to first of all, I would like let's all talk about let's all review about how this debate goes so far. The open government has successfully talked about the Pancasila, that Pancasila, we are all living under the various religion in one state. They also bring about the minorities. The minorities is suffering, but they never explain why they are suffering and how they are suffering, which is going to be explained in our side of the house. We always heard the word don't blame religion, but blame the people of that religion. I know that all of us has already heard this term. From here, we know that there is no such religion which is teaching bad, right? They are all teaching good, but how word blame exists actually. It's because there are problem that is nothing to do with religion, but just because some irresponsible people do mistakes behind the religion, so that religion got involved and claimed as teaching bad or teaching way too extreme, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to I'm going to engage the previous speaker one by one, and the opponent team said that they thought we are going to erase the religion studies itself, and they thought that a student will have like ahlak. But we say there are so many things, there are so many platforms that students can learn. They can go to the a community or groups or things like that, so they can learn religion itself can be learned in all things, ladies and gentlemen. They can also learn it from the informal platform, right? So let us talk about the grassroots of how this can arise. I said that there are many irresponsible people who don't know much about their religion. As my teammate said, in school there is only few hours you learn religion, right? So they only know about the basic of the religion itself. This they only know about the list. So the religion itself is informed in a incomplete way. So if, for example, if you are being asked by someone about the heavy question about the religion, but just because you learn it only 1 hour, for example, in school, you cannot actually answer the question, right? Or if you are being invited to go to a certain groups, you only say yes because all you know is only the front page of your religion you got from those 1 hour teaching religious lesson. So we only see this coming from our side of the house. We know in long-term benefit it is going to build a secure societies, because we know they are going to generalize all students having the same type of religion knowledge, the same amount of religion knowledge. So there will be majorities and minorities in public in the school, right? So that's why we only see this coming from our side of the house. We propose the motion.
The government whip spent 4 minutes and 38 seconds. 4 minutes and 38 seconds. To close the case from the opposition side of the House, we'll invite the opposition whip from EAN Palopo. Time and place is yours.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, thank you.
May start now.
Law number 20 of 2003 concerning the national education system in Article 12, paragraph 1, letter A mandates that every student in each educational unit has the right to receive religious education. Once again, has the right to receive religious education according to the religion that they believe and is taught by educator of the same religion. But before that, I am Widya Amanda Utami as the second speaker from the closing opposition. And our motion today is that religious lessons should not be taught in school. And we are from the closing opposition would like to emphasize that we are totally disagree with today's motion. And then, before I'm going to my argument, I would like to divide my statement today into two parts. The first is rebuts, and then I'm going to my statement. Rebuts. I would like to rebut the second speaker from the opening government. She mentioned before that being minority is bad, especially when it comes to religious lesson. The honorable adjudicators, we don't see this as they mention this as a reasons of why we should not taught religious education just because of being minority. Just because of being minority doesn't mean that we should ban religious lesson. That doesn't mean that we shouldn't taught religious lesson at school. And then the second, I would like to rebut the closing government. They mentioned before that learning or studying religious lesson at school is boring. Where does this statement come from, and why is this such a important reason to be a reason that we shouldn't taught religious lesson at school, the honorable adjudicators? And then that is my rebut, and then I'm going to my statement. The honorable adjudicators, we are from the opposition team, are totally disagree with today's motion. Why we shouldn't taught religious lesson at school when we know that it is the base of a student's characteristic to build their characteristic. The honorable adjudicators, family gave up their children to go to school because they want to get educated, and just because of this, because the family know their ability in teaching religious lesson. That's why they gave up their children to go to school to reach the religious lesson, and then the school wants to one religious lesson not be taught in school. The honorable educator, not the lesson that shouldn't be taught, but the method of the way we teach religion at school. Once again, not the lesson that shouldn't be taught, but the method or the way we teach religion at school that we should change. That is, we should add the harmony. We should teach harmony, mutual respect among religions, and love for each other. Because religious lessons are still very much needed in school. However, what needs to be addressed is the learning method and the material. For example, it is important to provide material that every religion, because every religion teaches harmony, mutual respect among religion, and love for each other, not spreading hatred towards people of the same religion or people for different religions. And then the second is, where should students go if religious lesson is not taught in school? We are not talking about one religion here, but all religions. And then where should students go if religious lesson is not taught in schools? Because the family has gave up their children to go to school to be taught religious lesson. Because it's the basic. What if the basic family has lack religious knowledge? What if parents do not introduce religious knowledge from an early age in the family environments because of the limited ability of the parents themselves? So that makes the school as a foundation in introducing religion to their children, the honorable adjudicators. And then the reasons why we should taught religious lesson at school is that because first to maintain students shape their character and then to develop the capability of students, especially in understanding their religion in very
May I
early.
ask, please?
No, thank you. And then religious lesson exists to fight and against the radicalism, the honorable educators. And then Indonesia is a country that put its role in Pancasila. And then as we know that Pancasila, the very number one on top is that belief in the one and only God. That's why we need to teach religion at school, the honorable educators, because this is our identity as an Indonesian and as a democratic country. Thank you.
The opposition whip spent 5 minutes and 39 seconds. 5 minutes and 39 seconds. That's the end of our debate today. The semi-final round uses the ranking system, so the winner will not be directly announced by the end of the session. But we will allow the representation of the adjudicator to deliver feedbacks for around 5 minutes. The honorable adjudicator may now begin to deliver the feedback, starting from Bu Sharifah Dahliana.
Thank you very much. Okay, now I found some points that maybe you need to be concerned. Yeah? Sometimes I found that the connection between your ideas and your example is quite low, so it weakens your argument even. Yeah, and if you have a strong point sometimes, but it doesn't not have enough explanation, as a result, this argument cannot persuade the audience to believe what you say. Yeah, and I also found that some of you repeat of the ideas. You just concerned of what you have prepared. Actually, you need to state the argument later without considering what other debaters have said. So you just read what you have prepared. Actually, you need to see what other debaters have already said. Yeah, but overall, I believe that some of you have tried to put your best effort to provide a strong argument and respond to the opponent's comment. Yeah, I think that's all from me.
Thank you, Bu Sharifah Dahliana. And now let's listen to the feedback from Bu Rosita Tandus.
Okay, thank you. Again, congratulations for all of you. It's a very good topic and very good response from you all. It's I can realize that it's not easy to present as the first team because the last team become so many ideas and so many points to explain more and more strengths actually. But that's about debate. Okay, you have to not just to convince people about your idea, about your points, but also you have to challenge or argue for the others groups, right? So this maybe you can do more if you can go to the next round. And then also, again, I say, you can find so many ways to develop your idea. Don't stuck with the one point that already mentioned by the other groups. Try to find, okay, you can be the same as the main argument, but you can develop from the case or the example or any issues that relate to the main topic. And another last thing, be careful with the topic, because I say it's not easy to be the first, especially when the topic is about negative statement. So and then you be the challenge as the support or the against, right? So be careful because it's not easy. And then that's why I say doing the best brainstorming when you want to present the idea. Okay, thank you. Good luck.
Thank you, Bu Rosita. And now let's hear the feedback from Pak Henry.
Okay, thank you, moderator. Tell me if I'm wrong. I noticed there is confusion among particular group in this session. And I really have no idea why this happened. Anyway, if I may give you suggestion, you should pay attention to the topic. As Ibu Rosita said before, the mentions, especially mentioned in negative expression. So this will lead to your position. In other words, if you are assigned to act as the opposing or a government, then you have to focus on your role by addressing opposing expression or the pro expression about the motion. Okay, and second, I also noticed that some of the speakers still spend a lot of time looking at the notes, and as I suggest for all the participants in all sessions yesterday and the previous, let this habit out of your mind, okay, because it will impress your audience that you are not well prepared for this competition. I think that's all. Back to you, Miss Moderator. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pa Henry. Now that we've reached the end of the session, we would like to thank the honorable adjudicators, debaters, and audience. Thank you very much for attending this session. You may leave the room now, but if you wish to stay and watch the next session, you may stay in the room or watch our live on YouTube. The last session of the day will start on 15:20 because we are gonna take a 10-minute break. Okay, for the next team, FAI Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta, IAIN Bone, UIN Mataram, and IAIN Parepare. Please be prepared and enter the room right now because the next session will be starting soon. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Gedein volume dari itu aja. Speaker. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Good afternoon, the honorable adjudicators, debaters, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the semi-final round of English debating competition of the first teams. We have FAI Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta, IAIN Bone, UIN Mataram, and IAIN Parepare. Let's start the session by launching the motion. The motion will be chosen by the spinning system that is shown on the screen. Okay, we can start spinning the motion. Alright, so the chosen motion of the session is that religious column should be omitted from national ID card. Now we're also going to spin off the position for each team. First, let's see the position for FAI Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta. FAI Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta will act as the closing government of the House. FAI Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta will act as the closing government of the House. Now let's see the position for IAIN Bone. Opening opposition of the House. IAIN Bone will act as the opening opposition of the House. And now for IAIN Mataram. IAIN Mataram will act as the closing opposition of the House. IAIN Mataram will act as the closing opposition of the House, and that will automatically put IAIN Parepare as the opening government side of the House. IAIN Parepare is the opening government side of the House. Now that we have the motion and position of each team settled, please allow us a minute to set up the screen for the debate. Okay, all set. Here comes the time for case building. You have 15 minutes for the case building. We provide the timer in the corner of the screen. Please keep in mind that you are supervised during the case building. No electronic device is allowed. You may only discuss with your partner, and please keep being on cam. The case building time starts now. For all participants, we would like to remind you that no electronic device is allowed during the case building session. And for Team C, from EAN Bone, could you please zoom in your face or being more close up to the camera so we can see your face clearer? Okay, thank you.
Sorry, can I ask something?
Yes, please.
Okay. When we when we took our role, it was announced that we got closing government, but it's written here that we have opening government. So which one is correct?
Yeah, you still get the previous position, but we do apologize. Here we are facing some technical issues, but you will be replaced on the screen, on your screen.
All
So,
right. Thank
yeah,
you.
thank you. Okay, everyone, we've reached the end of the case building session. Before we start the debate, I will explain the regulation. Each speaker has 7 minutes at max to deliver their arguments and rebuttals. At 1 minute, the POI may be delivered, but those who want to state their POI should interrupt directly and may speak once allowed by the performing debater. At 6 minutes, the POI time is over, and at 7 minutes, if the speaker hasn't stopped speaking, the moderator has right to interrupt and stop the speech. Without further ado, to open the case from the government team, please welcome the Prime Minister from EAN Pare-Pare. Time and place is yours.
First of all, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Sapal Bahtiar and I am from EIN Pare-Pare, and we proudly present that we EIN Pare-Pare as the opening government in this position. Ladies and gentlemen, my fellow debaters and also all adjudicators that attend this debate forum, I would like to define and also put a limitation in this debate forum so it goes systematically and also scientifically. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow debaters, first of all, this motion today is that this House believes that religion's column should be omitted from the national ID card. Ladies and gentlemen, my fellow debaters, Indonesia is a country of law. People were demanded to save from any other discriminations, any other stigma, any other label that society gave us. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this religious column refers to a religious column in ID card or Indonesian national ID in order to present to give definitions that which religions that a person could probably have in that national ID card. Ladies and gentlemen, my fellow debaters, and this national ID card refers to ID card which is appear in political, also in general requirement, ladies and gentlemen. So for the limitation itself, for today's debate, we will be talking about the religious column in Indonesian ID card, especially in Indonesian national ID card, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, let's move to my argument. My first argument that religious column in ID card, in Indonesian national ID card, makes a stigma for society. Society labeled us. Society gave us a stigma if our religion showed up in the national ID card. For an example, ladies and gentlemen, this is the true evidence. If we go to the society and the police came up and would probably ask us for our ID card, and they probably see our religion in that column. They probably give us whether they give us privilege or whether it's not. If there is a misunderstanding about the person itself, if they see religions to other religions as a bad perspective, this could be a big harm, a heavy harm for us to make religious column in our ID card appear. So probably religious column in ID card put a stigma for us. It could be a label. We could be labeled by society. We could be labeled as a Muslim society, a Muslim person. The society may label us or other religions, and they could probably see us in other perspective because our religion already showed up in our ID card. So probably religious column or our religions should be in our privacy itself. It shouldn't be appear in ID card, ladies and gentlemen. And this might be ended up with a lot of discriminations in Indonesia. It could actually make a little chaos in Indonesia if there is a stigma label that would separate between Muslim and other religions society. That is the reason why the religious column in ID card should be omitted and should be erased, should be removed as soon as possible, ladies and gentlemen. Fellow debaters, and I would like to convince with the solutions. It is my solution from the opening government that the government should remove the religious column in ID card, but making the address or the ID card, the identity of the person in ID card more obvious, and also more clearer. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my solution from the opening government as the Prime Minister of the opening government. And I would like to end my speech by reciting Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
The Prime Minister spent 4 minutes and 35 seconds. 4 minutes and 35 seconds. Then to start the case for the opposition team, please welcome the opposition leader from EAN Bone. Time and place is yours.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity that has given to us. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable, the adjudicator, the moderator, the timekeeper, and also the participant and all the viewers. Before I start to bring my opinions up, bring my statement up, I would like to say it once again. Thank you so much for the opportunity that has given to us. And then I would like to introduce myself. My name is Mayada, as the representative of EAN Bone, and here I am the leader of the opposition. So, before I try to bring my arguments up, I would like to rebate what the Prime Minister has said before, which is stigma, which could be a label to society, especially to the Muslim. And the religion's column should be a privacy because it can lead us to the discriminations. I strongly didn't agree about this because if we deleted the religion column on the national ID card, then what's the purpose of removing the religion sign columns after all? Because if we remove that, does that mean that it leads to the discrimination itself? Because it seems like we didn't put more effort to respect other people's religions, because we don't want to put their religion in it. And then it means in someone's religions, if isn't the same, if we relate in this someone's religion column, it means we don't recognize that someone's religion is. Even that in the national ID, there is a lot of information such as marriage, inheritance, and also property ownership. Please wait until I'm done.
child adoptions issue, and other administrative matters. And it based from what the Widodo says when he gave a statement at judicial review, and its station states at the, and it also related to the religious column held at the Constitutional Court. And also, I'm sorry. The government explanation regarding the importance of religion column in family cards and identity cards. If we try to looking for the evidence of it, the head of legal bureau of the Ministry of Home Affairs, it's Widodo Sigit Pujanto, he said that the religion column is important to be included in the family card and identity card. And we know that religion is very important to every people, because if we didn't know every person's religion, then how are we supposed to know how to treat them? Especially if in their national ID card there's no religion in it. What if they going out in public and then they're okay?
Okay, thank you very much. The opposition think that if you want a good deed, you need to know what the person's religion is. But probably if we want to give a tolerance, if we want to do a good deeds in people, you don't have to need to know which religion that a person has. I think that's it.
Yes, you have to know their religions, because if you don't know their religion, you can, if you know their religion, you can prevent and you can know how to act to them. Because we, of course, we have a different act if we act to the Christian or even Muslim. Of course, it's different, and sometimes in every country, you said that before, it's about discrimination. Then, if we didn't know the religions, does that means that we didn't accept their own religion because we didn't put that in the national ID card itself? So I think that's all that I can deliver. So I want to make it clear again that we are strongly didn't agree about this motion, because if we deleted the religion column in the national ID card, it is lead us to the discrimination itself. Thank you very much.
The opposition leader spent 5 minutes and 9 seconds. 5 minutes and 9 seconds. To continue the debate today, I would like to call the Deputy Prime Minister from EAN Parepare. Time and place is yours.
Okay, well, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Well, first of all, I would like to say thank you very much for the Master of Ceremony who has given me a golden time to speak in this debate, and also for all the respectable educators and our motion. And I would like to introduce myself first. I am Kadarudin as the second speaker from the opening government, and we are from EAN Parepare. Our motion for today is that religious columns should be omitted from national ID card. The first speaker have been explained many reasons that why we should agree for this motion, that we should omit or we should remove the religious columns in. We should remove the religious columns in national ID card. But before I'm also going to my argument, I would like to rebut the first speaker from the opening opposition that said, if you want to respect the other people, you must know their religion. But as the fact now we are in Indonesia, that everyone same. We are same. So we don't need to know about their religion if we want to respect them. Because respect in our country, Indonesia especially, we must respect. Although we are different religion, we must always respect to them. And then the second argument from the opening position said that we have to know about their religion so we can act to that. We can know what action that we can apply to them. But actually, we don't need to know about. We don't need to put the religion in the national ID card. This is the point. We don't need to put what's religious columns in ID card. If you want to act to them, we don't need to see their ID card to know about their religion. If you want to know their religion, you can find in if you want to act with them, you just see the situation of him and any other. And as the fact now, as the fact in Indonesia, if we want to do action to another people.
Can I please?
No thanks. We can open their. We never open their ID card. We just ask them, what religion are you? It's like that. So this is the point. And the next, I'm going to my argument that why we are from the government team that really agree with this motion. Firstly, now, as the fact, Indonesian country is not religious country. It is a democracy country. And religion also is a personal affairs with the God. It is our personal affairs with the God. So we don't need to put our religion. What religion are we that we should put in ID card? Because and then we don't need to publish it, because as the first speaker have been explained that it will cause discrimination and.
UI, please.
No thanks. And then the next argument why we agree with this motion is will cause discrimination for the majority that have been explained for the first speaker, and I want to continue this argument that for the minority, if they have their own religion, for example, out from 6 religions that have been set in Indonesia, and want to prepare some data, they have to and then they show their religion, and they don't have the religion that have been set by the government. It will be difficult for them. And then the solution that we are going to give, as the first speaker have been explained, is the government should remove the religion column in the ID card and making clear about the address, making clear about the address on the ID card, because it is our identity. So I think that's all our argument for today. Thank you so much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
The Deputy Prime Minister spent 4 minutes and 4 seconds. 4 minutes and 4 seconds. Thank you for the opening government. And now please welcome the Deputy Leader of Opposition from the opening opposition. Time and place is yours.
All right. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, the honorable, the adjudicators, moderators, timekeepers, and all participants. Thank you so much for the time. I'm Nur Fadilatun Nisa as the deputy leader of opposition. Will bring my argument. So before I start with my first argument, I'd like to rebut the argument from the government team. So first, the Prime Minister said that religious column on ID card may be a discrimination, and it could be a label. It could be a label for our society. And also, this label will be a stigma for our society. However, I see there in real life, based on the fact, there is no discrimination case of religion which happened and which caused by a religious column on ID card. We didn't get any case that happened based on just because of religious column, right? So rather than seeing this religious column as a discrimination point or bad stigma, or we can say that label for our society, we see this part as the most important part for our society, because if something if something bad happen for people, just for example like accident, we can take a good solution for them, such as for help, and we can take it from such as humanity and from its religion, like on that, and something like that, we can use the religious column for the solution. And quoted
Your
from
eye, please.
.com, no thanks, Deputy Secretary of the Commission for Justice and Law, MUE, Lutfi Hakim said that if we put religious column on ID card, it's just going to cause any inconvenience, since clearly Indonesia is not a secular state where sociology of the religious social relationships has its own meaning. So it is better that the religion column stays there. If we left the religion column blank, of course, there will be an interruption in the community. Don't just see the negative sides, but the benefits as well. But the benefits, one of the advantages of placing the religion there, as I said before, it's just for the information. It's for our identity. So if something wrong happen, we can see all the identity there. And the victims can be processed more easily based on administrative and religious. It is contrary to the country's founding philosophy of Pancasila. Politicians from Islamic-based politician parties also oppose government's decisions to grant the wish of people to leave the religion column on their ID cards blank. They said that the decision was contrary to the country's founding philosophy of Pancasila, especially the first verse of Pancasila, because believe in one supreme God. This principle should make the religious column still on our ID card. And in line with this, Arwani Prosperous Justice Party politician Abu Bakar Al-Hasbi emphasized that the state's foundation was Pancasila. If we believe that Pancasila is our state, then ideology and our national identity, then why we should be ashamed of including our religion on our KTP or national identity card? He asked this question. So my point is, we shouldn't omit this from national ID card. And as my friend said before, we totally disagree with this motion. All right, thank you so much for the opportunity. That is all from me.
The deputy leader of opposition spent 4 minutes and 55 seconds. 4 minutes and 55 seconds. Thank you for the opening opposition. And now, please welcome from the closing side of the House, the member of government from Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta. Time and place is yours.
Okay, my voice clearly?
Yes.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Judge and the member of this House. First, I want to confront what was stated by the opposition group. From the opposition group say, religion is important to be known so that we can treat them well. Meanwhile, if we treat people basic their religion, what they believe, it is a discrimination, right? And I have a question. What solution from opposition group can give to people whose religions or beliefs are not acknowledged in Indonesian? Next, I will give our argument why religious column should be omitted from national ID card. First, countries have guaranteed freedom of religion and the confidence of their citizens and have protected them for the sake of the law. Instead, in the 19th 45 Constitution, Chapter 28, letter E, verse 2, that every citizen has their own right to choose their religion or belief. So from this state, every citizen free choosing their belief. This is a basic religious life in Indonesia. And the next reason is religious column opened the door to discrimination against religious minorities and beliefs. Identity card management outside 6 different religions is difficult to trigger a person who chooses to give up and is a religion that is not believed or chooses not to have. These measures may undermine citizens' rights. Abuses are fueled by confidence issues and lead to civil administration affairs. Okay, that's all for me. Thank you.
The member of opposition, the member of government spent 2 minutes and 26 seconds. 2 minutes and 26 seconds. To continue the debate, I'll yield the floor to the member of opposition, Win Mataram. Time and place is yours.
Is my voice clear, Miss?
Yes.
Okay. Start my debate in 3, 2, 1, and go. Well, ladies and gentlemen, adjudicator, I'm here as the first speaker from the opposing opposition who will deliver my argument. But before that, of course, I want to give some rebuttal for the previous group that delivered their argument from you today. The first one here is I want to move focus to the government side of the house. Just both of the team just focus on the discriminations when we put the religious column in the ID card, ladies and gentlemen. But we are here as the opposition team. We believe that in our status quo today in Indonesia, we are here have a long time to put the religious column in our national ID card, and we don't have any actual fact that we do discrimination to another religion, ladies and gentlemen. So we do believe that the government side of the house don't have any research or the for example for us, ladies and gentlemen. So let's jump to my argument, ladies and gentlemen and adjudicators. I want to start my argument with explanations to you all about the urgency about the urgency of religion itself, ladies and gentlemen. We do believe that the opposition side of the house, religious is the most important things for society or human, ladies and gentlemen. No, thank you. It's the same important like the name and our address, ladies and gentlemen. So our country put the religious column in the national ID card. That's just the status quo for our country today. And of course, jump to my argument, ladies and gentlemen. I have some reason why we should put the religious column in the national ID card. The first one here is religious identity is one of the human rights, ladies and gentlemen and adjudicators, because the people can show their belief to another people that will show their pride where they have the religious, ladies and gentlemen. I want to give you a simple example that how important we put the religious column in our ID card. For example, as you as student have a school report in your school, then you want to show that to your parents. How if someone or anybody want to update the mark in your report, ladies and gentlemen, it's simply important. One, it's very important is for the simple example, if the religious column is omitted in the national ID card, ladies and gentlemen. And the second point here, I want to emphasize to you that religious identity is important for the society when they want to join the religious community. Like we know that in Indonesia, there are most of big religious community like Muhammadiyah, NU, NW, and other. So because of that reasons, we need the religious column or religious identity in our national ID card, ladies and gentlemen. Can you imagine if we as the government omitted the religious column in the ID card? It will make some internal problem in that big community, ladies and gentlemen. And as we know, here in the fact, it will make some internal problem, like what I said before, when for example the other religions enter to that community, ladies and gentlemen. And the third point I want to emphasize to you here as the opposition side of the house, One of the reason why put the religion column is important is because it's urgent when something unpredictable thing happen. For example, ladies and gentlemen, can you imagine if you are a police and in the road you found a body, that body in the road? Can you imagine if they don't have any identity card or the religious column in their identity card? We have know that every religion has a different therapy for the dead body, ladies and gentlemen. So if you don't know their, no, thank you. So if you don't know their religious identity, we will confuse to take care of that. For example, Muslim and Hinduism has a different way to take care of the dead body, ladies and gentlemen. The Muslim buried the dead body and the land, and also, and in other side, Hinduism just burned the body, ladies and gentlemen. So it's the one of the important things why we should put the religious column into the national ID card. And the fourth argument that I want to emphasize to you that why put the religious column is important, because in Indonesia that believe in God, so we omitted that religious column in ID card. It will why here we as the opposition team do disagree with this motion, ladies and gentlemen, because like what I said before to you, then my second speaker will strengthen my argument with the other evidence and example. With that's all, I beg to pose this motion. Thank you.
The member of opposition spent 5 minutes and 8 seconds. 5 minutes and 8 seconds. To close the case from the government side of the House, we'll invite the government whip from Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta. Time and place is yours.
All right, first, am I audible enough?
Yes, you are.
All right, thank you. I'm gonna start. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Standing here as the government, as the closing government of this motion, and our motion today is that the religious column should be omitted from the national ID card. Of course, we do agree totally with this motion. And before we state our statements, we're gonna do the rebuttal. I'm going to confront what was stated by the previous opposition group. First, the first speaker of my group has questioning about what is the solution for the confidence issues which is occurred in the people who have the minority religion, or who have the religion which are not acknowledged in Indonesia, but she didn't respond at it. So it's clear that they don't have any solution for that. And then the second one, they pointed that we from the government, we just focusing on the discrimination issues. And she said, like, so we don't have any research or another data, another evidence about it. Meanwhile, discrimination is a big issue. It's an important issue to be solved, because a discrimination is not. I mean, it's gonna lead to a bigger conflict. It's gonna lead to chaos, like the first government stated. And then she also said that the removal of religious column in the national ID card will lead into the internal problem. What is meant by internal problem here? It's not clear. It hasn't been clear enough what they meant by internal problem. And then the next one is that what they were questioning about. What if there is an unpredictable accident, and then like the police found a spirited body, and they don't see any religious column in the ID card. So what is the solution? So we are from the government group saying that address, the existence of address in the national ID card is much more important than the existence of religious column in the ID card. For as long as we have the address of that person in the national ID card, we can contact the person in that address, and we can easily know what the religion that he has or she has, and we can do the process very easily, right? Okay, and then right now we are going to go to our statement as the closing government for this motion. So
I'm gonna start with the law, from the law side, as it's mentioned in the 1945 Constitution of the Republic of Indonesia, Chapter 27, verse 1, that all citizens shall have equal status before the law and the government, and hold without exemption the law and the government in esteem. So the removal of the religious column actually matches the principle of equality before the law, as we know that Indonesia is the country of the law, as it is stated by the first government group, right? So it matches. So it's right that the religious column should be omitted. It's necessarily to be omitted from the national ID card. And then the second one, also it's stated in the 1945 Constitution of the Republic of Indonesia, Chapter 28, letter D, verse 3, that every citizens have the equal, no thank you, have the equal opportunity to take role in government. So since we know that all the citizens have the same rights, so it's not necessarily for us or for the government to put the religious column in that ID card, in that national ID card. And also, I'm going to go to the next statement. It's from the social side, social part. But in Indonesia, we only have 6 official religions, and it's written. It's written in the law, chapter 64, verse 2, that the citizens whose religions are not officially acknowledged will be written as others, or will be acknowledged as they have another religion, which cannot stand for their own identity. So here, as the government, I also question the opposition. Like, what is your solution to the confidence issues regarding their identity? Like, they cannot show their real identity in their ID card, since since Indonesia is such a diverse country, and we have so many beliefs, so many religions. So they whose religions are not acknowledged will suffering for the confidence issues and discrimination and many others. Okay, you can go with your POI.
Okay, thank you so much for the opportunity. You talked about equality for all religion, rights, and so on, in line with discrimination that can cause by a religious column. However, I have a question. Could you please give an example of a religious discrimination caused by religious column? Because from what I look for, I didn't find any cases happen because of religious column, especially discrimination case. Thank you so much.
All right. So your question was about what is the example of the case regarding the religious religious discrimination. So there were so many cases related to that. Like we know there was occurred in Papua, which the majority are Christians. Like they burned the masjid. They burned the place where people do the prayers. So it's one of the case of religion discrimination. So how could you say that there is no case of religion issues, religion discrimination issues? So by this, we as the closing government would like to state our statement that religious column should be omitted from the national ID card, because it's totally closer to the justice, and it will prevent anyone from discrimination, as what we've told before in our proposals. And thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Spend. The government whip spent 6 minutes and 54 seconds. 6 minutes and 54 seconds. To close the case from the opposition side of the House, we'll invite the opposition whip from Win Mataram. Time and place is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, starting my speech in 3, 2, 1. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, the opening, firstly, jump to my rebuttal, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, the OG stated that, Prime Minister stated that putting the column of religions of beliefs inside of our identity card or KTP, ladies and gentlemen, it will labeling people and it will cause the problem, ladies and gentlemen. But he doesn't explain what is clear problems of that level, ladies and gentlemen. So we're still okay right now. Even our ID card is published until right now, right? Ladies and gentlemen, the society level, what the religion column is the representative of their beliefs, because you said that you all guys from the government side of the house all saying that our society, our government are given us legal right to publish, to perform our religion, ladies and gentlemen. But why we should then omit the column of religions inside of our ID card? You are guys are contradictory with your arguments. Since you lead us into not doing the discrimination, you also lead us explain us why we should give them the right to perform their religions, but why we should even omit the column of their beliefs, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, firstly, I'm going to tell you about the what my previous speaker said, that, ladies and gentlemen, the nature of history, the nature of religion itself is, ladies and gentlemen, the characteristic of people who are royal with their religion is they are going to show their belief. They're not having worry to expose part of their identity, right? Because it represents themselves, it represents their life, ladies and gentlemen, in any conditions, in any situations. You said that our country is a democratic country. It means that we are having a right to give, to publish our own right, and the column of religion itself is also a part of the right, ladies and gentlemen. So, in every situation, the religious beliefs have consistency of their beliefs, ladies and gentlemen. So, it will protect and guarantee them, so that no one can give the claim, or no one can give bad label to their beliefs, ladies and gentlemen. That's why. And also the nature of Indonesia itself, ladies and gentlemen, we are legalized by the constitutions, right? That's why we would like to propose that if the column of the religions itself should not be omitted from our ID card, ladies and gentlemen. And also the opponents, the government stated also that we must respect. No thanks. We must respect our interreligious society by not giving them. Not publish our column of religions, ladies and gentlemen. But here, I would like to tell you that it is too easy for us to judge people, like you say, right? It is too easy, but you said that also Indonesia is not a religious country. It is a democracy country, means that our country are legally giving freedom to support to export something which has been part of our life, right? That's why we don't have to worry if then someone will give or see our identity. No thanks, ladies and gentlemen. So, and also the closing government stated with their arguments that our country has given us to perform our religion. Yes, because of that, the country also must give the reasons to give their society to publish their voice, right? And the column of religion is one of the voice that the country should legal or should give to the society, ladies and gentlemen. So you talk about the minority also. No thanks. Ladies and gentlemen, you talk about the minority and the discrimination, but that will be happen because of the religion's column inside of the KTP, ladies and gentlemen. But you didn't give us the clear explanation why it can lead us into the discrimination, and the solution you provided to us is not directly will lead us into the problems, right? So here we are going to support that if the column of ID card is going to be still stay inside of our KTP or ID card, ladies and gentlemen. So here I'm going to back to my argument, ladies and gentlemen. My previous speaker state about the human right, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I couldn't have why I couldn't have my identity inside my KTP or my ID card, ladies and gentlemen. I have performed my faith. I have done everything toward my religion's faith, and I have done everything that my religion has taught to me. I will proudly take my religion into my identity, because it has become the essential part of my life. That's the essentials of the religions, and also the relations between our nations, and also the religions, ladies and gentlemen. So I would it doesn't mean that I would like to show people my ID only to got the acceptance right to live, right? But it doesn't make sense when you said that it will trigger conflict easily, ladies and gentlemen. So based on that point, I would like to back to oppose. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
The opposition whip spent 5 minutes and 34 seconds. 5 minutes and 34 seconds. Alright, that's the end of our debate today. The semi-final round uses a ranking system, so the winner will not be directly announced by the end of the session, but we will allow the representation of the educator to deliver feedback for around 5 minutes. We may start with Bu Sharifah Dahliana.
You? Okay, yeah. I think all of you have tried to present your argument and also give some example to make clear your ideas. But I think you may need to explore more possible response and solution. Yeah, because that really strong. Yeah, I mean, you need to have more response and solution that really strong, that make people think that this is a very smart idea and solution that maybe the government needs to think about that to be implemented in our society. Because I found that the arguments are quite similar or in the same tone. Maybe different, but in the same tone. I think that's all for me.
Bu Sharif, thank you, Bu Sharifah. And now from Bu Rosita Tandus.
Okay, thank you, moderator. Congrats, you done with this semi-final one. Again, I always remind to all the debaters, participants that be clear with your idea. Like Bu Sharifah said, don't repeat what people already said. You should show your strength, okay? By paraphrasing or find other words to explain your idea, because it will show your level of English, okay? So again, if you pass to the next step, if you can pass to the next step, focus on 3 things, okay? Definitions, argument, and rebuttal. Be clear with these 3 points that can differentiate you or can improve your score to the others. And again, you have to have almost equal capacity in doing this debate between your first and second speakers. I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Bu Rosita. And now from Pak Henry.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Moderator. I noticed that some of you have difficulties in constructing an argument or rebuttal. I think I would suggest that in constructing a rebuttal, you should point out the weakness of your opposing group or your opponent. But not only pointing out the weakness, but you also have to offer an alternative side that convince the audience that the idea offering by your opponent is weaker than what you say. So I think that's all. For now, Ms. Moderator, thank you. Back to you.
Thank you, Pak Henry. And now that we've reached the end of the session, we would like to thank the honorable educators, debaters, and audience. Thank you very much for attending this session. This is the last session of the semi-final round. We do hope that everyone gets the best result, and see you at the final round of OASE PTKI 2021. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much, guys. Thank
Thank you so much, guys, for
you. Bye.
Bye bye. Thank
Bye.
you.